Hey, I got worked up yesterday, and I don't know what it's like for all the other vegans out there, but oftentimes this happens where you see something or hear something, and it gets you all worked up. And the thing
Hmm.
I got worked up about yesterday was this milk ad with Queen Latifah.
Yes, that was we had it on the show yesterday. That was fun. You want to watch
Now,
it and get worked
I
up
didn't
about
even
it?
watch it. Here's the thing: I didn't even watch it, and it
Oh,
still worked me up. And here's why. So the Aubrey Plaza milk ad, got milk, wood milk thing that happened, and the
yeah,
vegan
I remember that
community
happening.
had a pretty big reaction to that because we saw it as them like sort of mocking us or whatever, but also beyond that, it was mocking the idea that like we would want to do something that's not only better for animals, for the planet, anyway, all this stuff. Aubrey took a lot of heat for that to the point where she ended up taking that post down off of her Instagram page. And when that happened, I felt a little bit like, all right, that's a win. You know what?
Hmm.
Milk industry, too bad for you. And then not even a month after that, Queen Latifah's up doing an ad for the same ad agency with the same ad campaign. And it's like, okay, I got a couple questions. Number one, did Queen Latifah's people not see what happened to Aubrey
I
after this?
know.
Because I don't think that was good for her. Because now, still, you go on Aubrey Plaza's Instagram on random posts, people are calling her a dairy industry shill and an
Yeah,
animal abuse proponent, and they're not wrong.
no,
And
fuck her.
yeah, so I went from not caring too much about her, but thinking she's kind of funny or whatever, to
Hmm.
fuck her because
Yeah.
that's. And Queen Latifah, the same thing. I worked with Queen Latifah, and she was delightful. We worked together on the Little Mermaid Live, and we worked together. We were in the same room. I was doing puppetry. But she was nice. She sat with with the crew and the actors, and she was a nice person. And
Yeah.
now that she's done this, I don't really like her anymore. And
No.
it's like, do you understand what you're actually promoting when you do a got milk ad? Because there's a lot of suffering that goes into that. And it's tangible, actually happening. We can look at it, point at it, and see it and off empathize with it suffering. And it's happening on a massive scale, and it's completely unnecessary and avoidable. And so, sure, go on Queen Latifah's page, tell her what you think, comment on that until she has to disable her comments and take that post down. But
Has,
there's a much
has
more
she not?
important.
I wonder if she has already.
Oh yeah, exactly. Maybe she has already. But there's a much more
68,000
important
likes.
68,000 likes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's not too many. Anyway,
No.
but
Do
how
you
I
want to?
strongly feel is we have these celebrities that are taking the heat. Everybody's going and commenting on Aubrey's page and Queen Latifah's page. Well, here's a really cool thing, right? The There's people standing behind this ad who we don't see. There's an ad director, there's a head of the agency, there's an influencer marketing manager, there's 100 people who work for the ad agency that
Hmm.
produced this ad. And you can go on LinkedIn, you can search the name of the ad agency, you can find the people who work at that ad agency, and you can know it's them because you'll see they're bragging about the milk campaign they're working on,
Hmm.
and you can let them know that you are going to hold them personally accountable. And what that means is, hey, I'm going to go on your page and I'm going to tell everybody what you're doing. I'm going to post I'm going to post what really happens to cows on your posts. And I'm going to do that relentlessly. I'm going to just make it I'm going to be like, I'm sorry because you chose to be a part of this ad
Well,
campaign.
it's crazy. You still haven't seen it because it's about being shamed for drinking milk. I can't believe you haven't watched it, Jess.
I think I heard some clips from it. It was milk shaming, right? Yeah, it's a milk shaming thing, but it's ironic because it's like, yeah, that's exactly what we're doing. We're milk shaming you
Yeah, but
because
I mean, hold
you're
on. You gotta
abusing
watch it.
others.
You gotta watch it. Hold
Most
on.
Americans have tried it at least once. Some people drink it every day, but recently, dairy deniers all over America are subjecting them
Dairy
to milk
deniers.
shaming. Just listen to these stories.
I'm on a first date. Everything's going good.
So this guy, like, why did they pick this guy as the pinnacle of health, the milk drinker? Doesn't this seem like maybe
Yeah,
not the person? Like,
and
I think
honestly,
this is
let's say,
so
okay,
weird.
let's be real, okay, because I have actually heard this. Now that I'm realizing I did see this, but
Okay.
let's be real for a second, okay? If you're on a first date, if I'm on a first date with someone and they order a big old glass of milk to go with their meal, that's our last date.
Yeah.
Also, you know what I mean? Like,
Well,
number one,
it's for a lava cake. It's a dessert, and he ordered a glass of milk, and it's fucking disgusting. I used to work in restaurants and hospitality, and like if someone ordered a glass of milk, it was like you psychopath. Even
Yeah.
like all the meat eaters were like, "Ooh, you're drinking a glass of milk at a
That's how they
restaurant."
signal psychopaths in films. It's a
Yeah,
trope. It's a whole
yeah,
ass trope. You
yeah,
know, so it's
yeah.
not just, and that's not just from the vegans. That's just because people are like, it's creepy. And for example, in Get Out, it happens because they want to show how white people can process milk differently.
Yeah.
And so it's like he's this evil ass white dude just having or white chick having a glass of milk. Anyway,
Well, yeah, and there's also,
yeah.
of course, Alex and Clockwork Orange, and anytime there's a psychopath who goes into a bar in order, let's always in the cowboy movies, everyone's drinking whiskey, and the one psychopath goes, "I have a glass of milk."
Yeah.
It's so gross.
But anyway, yeah, we're shaming you, and we're shaming you for the animal abuse that is necessitated by your milk. It's not, we don't care what the fuck you drink. I don't care. Drink coconut milk, oat milk, soy milk, almond milk, water, do what you want. But the second you start hurting another individual unnecessarily, then I'm sorry, I have something to say about that. And I actually think that that's a value and an ideal that a lot of people agree with. You know, it's like, people get honor for going off to war and defending us, thank you for your service, right? That's, vegans are doing the same thing. It's thank you for your service for the animals, because what we're doing is helping to protect this thing. Oh, thanks, Benji.
Benji, glass of milk.
Benji, if you're listening on the podcast, Benji just bought us a glass of milk here on
Benji just got me a glass of milk for €2. Thank you, Benji.
It is a red flag, though. You're right. No.
It's a glaring red flag. Someone orders a fucking glass of milk anywhere. It's like, run.
Well, and our tax money is paying for that ad. That ad is being paid for in part by our tax money, because it's being paid for by the milk industry, which is heavily subsidized by our tax dollars.
Well, it's probably. I think that ad is definitely funded by the USDA, right? So it's the Dairy Farmers of America who are getting money from the USDA, who are hiring. So the money goes to the USDA. The USDA money goes to the Dairy Farmers of America. The Dairy Farmers of America pay the ad agency. The ad agency makes the ad.
Yeah.
All of the money.
At the end of it, there's a lot of people making money off of the suffering of others. And it's unnecessary, because listen, that's the key point, because a lot of people come back and say, well, vegans, you guys are also participating in hurting animals because of crop deaths, XYZ. And it's like, you're right.
In a house.
You're right. We are. But is it unnecessary? Is it necessary? Because I consider something necessary when it's like, am I going to be able to live without this? And the way our world, like, you're right, the way our world is structured right now, it's just not possible to.
Well, also like the crop death thing, accidental deaths in crop fields or whatever, does not justify raping and killing and raising billions of animals for slaughter. I mean, it's such an idiotic point of view that, like, oh, well, you vegans are doing bad things too. It's like, that's like saying, I guess Hitler could have been like, you Americans your hands aren't as clean as yours as you think they are. It's like, yeah, but we're not doing that, Hitler. Like, we're not doing that.
And there's, but Scott, anyway, how do you feel about the idea of going onto LinkedIn, searching for the ad agency, which is called Gale, Gale, and we don't have to do this now on the show, but how would you feel if our viewers, or if everybody in the vegan movement started doing this? Search for the ad agency, Gale. They have offices all over, and find some people who have worked on that milk campaign and let them know how you feel about the fact that they're promoting animal abuse.
I mean,
they don't expect
this idea. I mean,
they don't expect it. They're happy to have Audrey take the heat, and they're going to go and hang out and drive their Tesla and go get burgers for lunch until the vegans start showing up on their social media, because that's something we can do.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I think if we can figure out who worked on these ads and be like, hey, you're propagandist for an evil an evil empire of torture and murder. I mean, I think perfectly reasonable, or just post something you don't even have to be so kind of harassment. You don't have to really harass them very much. You just could post a video about where the milk comes from, send them a link to don't.org, and just target them that way. Yeah,
that's what I mean. Exactly, stuff like that.
A true milk shaming campaign. Let's actually milk shame
Yeah,
Let's-
that's
I
actually
was-
milk shame.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, thanks for the idea.
Queen.
Gail, great
Gail.
ad copy there. You gave us
Thank
a
you,
great
Latifah.
idea.
Let's milk shaming campaign. I want to have a T-shirt that says "Milk Shamer."
Milk shamer. Yeah. And people will be like, what does that mean? I'll be like, do you want to get into it?
Yeah, Mike the Musical Vegan. They did do an ad with Got Silk for a while because they did. They took the Nepo babies from people who had done milk commercials 20
that's
years
funny.
ago and did the silk commercials with the milk mustache. And it said Got
Mhm.
Silk, and it was all of the scions of the celebrities who had been in milk commercials of yore. You know, like I think Tony
Yeah.
Hawk's kid was in there and John Travolta's kid. I can't remember all of the ones that did it, but yeah, Got Silk campaign was they did do that, and I think it was brilliant because it was all celebrities' kids. Yeah, these celebrities did milk commercials with the milk mustache, and now you are now their kids, the next generation won't drink milk because it's disgusting.